the voicemail box of Lieutenant Jared Kinsman with Fort Collins Police Professional Staters Unit. I'm either on the phone or away from my desk. If you can leave me a message, I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Hey, Lieutenant Kinsman, it's William Montgomery here. You know me, 970-825-4121, 970-412-5463. This always seems to happen with internal affairs, at least with like Murphy, and I never really got a chance to talk to Jackie or anything, but there are what I would consider to be potentially 6 issues going on between me and your city police department, and you are correct that some of them are most likely going to have to be decided through a 42 USC, since we'll call it close calls, and there's not any specifically established case law on the concept, like for instance being outside of a park. How far outside can you get before you're in trouble, and so obviously I'm going off of the natural probable cause definition of that an objectively reasonable cop would not do the same, but then there's obviously the arguable reasonable or arguable probable cause. Would an objectively reasonably mistaken person make the same choice, and so forth like that. That's all a bunch of nitty gritty stuff. I can fight that out in court. I kind of see what you're saying with like maps and reading it and how accurate one has to be. And you guys aren't necessarily the judges; those are the people in the courts. So you have to make sort of a common sense approach on the street. But basically, one of the big things I have a problem with is this split between, where officers are supposed to be doing something somewhat knowledgeable on the streets with law, even though they're not legal technicians. And so obviously, the actual finding of the guilt gets determined in court and so forth. And these are obviously a probable cause is something that is unique almost every situation, if the facts are slightly different. And so there's all sorts of reasons why one would need to decide 42 USC court. So in general, I guess I just want to apologize to you guys for heading straight to internal affairs. Most of the issues I'd like to still go over are a little bit simpler, but just things like park curfew, North College. The fact that they pointed to somewhere outside of the mapped area, completely contrary to their body cam footage. We know that you guys can actually go out there, physically go look at that body cam footage, physically go look at where they picked us up, and or you would be able to find out yourself. You'd have a pretty bad feeling that we weren't picked up in a park. So that's one thing. We'll deal with that like nitty gritty. I'll have to write that out. I'll have to find some case law to see how to approach it. So that really wasn't what I'm trying to say. Is that really wasn't the big issue that I had with internal affairs and with Murphy and with all you guys and stuff. So it was just an easy one, I thought, at the time. But since you were talking about it, I don't want necessarily to spend more time than necessary on that one specifically. Sorry, there's a freaking... groundskeeping. In any event, here's what's going on, Kinsman. This is what I really need to work on. Okay, so I tried to report this to Murphy specifically. Officer Giddings in the street that night on September 15th, 2015, or 2014, or September 14th, 2015, 14th or 15th, he alleged that he had spoken to the city attorney about the park boundary maps that he had obtained from the Parks Department. And then when I pressed him in court, I asked the exact same question. So did you talk to the city attorney? He said no. So I don't know if you want to consider that a lie or a falsifying of information. It kind of looks like you're attempting to influence through deceit. And more importantly is when I asked Giddings in trial if there were 2 leases, because I had drilled down that the property that the red line was in the map that he used was not covering the area of the green line that he had accused us of being inside of. And so when he said 2 leases, there's another lie for you, buddy. You can go look up the actual lease. Just go over to the leasing department, the real estate department, where your old police department used to be. There's not 2 leases there. There never were. There never has been. There never will be. And I don't know how else to categorize that.
Approaching the maximum length for a recording. Finish your recording after the tone.
So, sorry, I don't know how else to categorize that other than a big, fat, ugly lie. And the reason why I'm telling this is because he is an upcoming witness in an upcoming trial, and I think his honesty has been compromised, and I really think that he needs to be looked into. I'll get you more details, but it's really that simple. He said there were 2 leases.
The maximum length for a recording. To send this message, press pound or hang up. To mark it urgent,